So hello to Polly Higgins. This is Mike Grenville from Transition Forest Row. Thanks for talking to us this afternoon, Polly, on International Permaculture Day. That's happening all over the world. And Polly, you're described as a lawyer for the earth, and you're author of Eradicating Ecocide. And your website is This Is Ecocide. So what does that mean, ecocide?
Ecocide is a word that's been around since the 1970s. What I've done is I've given it legal definition. I propose that we make ecocide a crime, an international crime. And ecocide is essentially it's environmental genocide, but it does go further than that. I've given it definition as a crime where mass damage, destruction to a lot of ecosystems occurs. But this isn't just about the earth, the planet outside our front doorstep. This is also about going in at a deeper level and understanding that we also have cultural ecocide when we have social and spiritual breakdown of a given ecosystem, because we are ultimately part of an ecosystem of any given territory, and our interconnectedness and interdependency of the earth is very much something that is important if we are to embrace this planet and ensure that we live life peacefully for future generations.
Indeed, it's not something we really have an option on. So how did that relate? How did you get connected to permaculture? Because you wrote the foreword to Louis McNamara's book, People and Permaculture, I saw. So how did that connection get made?
I ended up engaging in permaculture through Zoe, who's now become one of my team. Zoe would hear me giving public talks about my work, and she'd say, that's a permaculture principle you're espousing there, because there are three kind of guiding factors in what I'm putting forward as a law of ecocide, and that's that it's about protecting people and planet, but also doing it fairly. So this is really about earth care, people care, as well as fair share. And I would use terms, and Zoe would point out to me that's a permaculture term. I'm very much interested in making the problem into the solution, especially when we're looking at corporate ecocide. How do we turn corporations around instead of becoming mass destroyers of the earth? How do we get them to become mass givers of life back into the earth? And this is a law to close the door in one direction and open the door to innovation and a green economy in another direction.
Yeah, so rather than just trying to lock them all up, actually to get them to just point them in a different direction.
Very much, and also to start taking responsibility, and where is needed to implement restoration practices. Because there's an awful lot of damage and destruction out there that's been walked away from, and we need to go back and heal it. Yes, I was given fantastic wisdom from an indigenous leader in Colombia who said, only when we face the shadow self and give it name can the healing begin. And really by naming mass damage and destruction as an ecocide, we can start actually addressing the problem at the heart, the source of it, and start finding out what the solutions are. So this really is a law that is capable of not just remedying on a practical level, but actually at a mental and spiritual level. There is something about really turning around and identifying the ecocide itself and saying, this is an ecocide, it must stop, and now we need to end this era of ecocide and look towards creating a beautiful new world. And what is that future new world that we all want? Here is now the time to start making it happen.
Yeah, actually having the vision of what it actually looks like. And the power of naming it. I mean, I do a lot of the work that reconnects, and as Joanna Macy would say, about honouring our pain, actually being able to name it, because so much of the way that we are, that culturally, that you mentioned before, that we are, is actually to hide all of these things. Everything is hidden from us now. So the power of actually naming it, it's very important, rather than just trying to pretend somebody was saying to me just the other day that about energy or solar panels, oh, well, they look so ugly. I said, well, not as ugly as a nuclear power station or a coal power station, but it's all hidden.
Yes.
So you don't see all of that.
Yes, this is it.
So how are you getting on? How is that going as not just as a concept, but actually, as you say, you're a lawyer, so actually in the courts. How is that going?
Well, this is an idea of its time. It's taking off all over the world, and I'm going all over the world, meeting with people to speak about this now. We have a growing team working with me now. It's engaging people from all walks of life, from UN ambassadors to parliamentarians to international lawyers to activists to permaculturalists, to indigenous leaders, to concerned, engaged citizens, to business. So it's wonderful that so many people are really waking up to this and saying, absolutely, this is a law that actually needs to help us move forward here and move forward in a constructive manner. So it's really very much of its time, and we are very, very keen to see some sort of progress in moving it forward, in particular at the Earth Summit in Rio in June of this year.
So how do you see it going? What would be your dream vision of how this work that you're doing will play out?
My dream vision is that we have at least one head of state to stand up at the Earth Summit in Rio in June this year and say, now is time to make Earth law at the Earth Summit. And that means that we get the ball rolling and we get in place this law, international law of ecocide. When we get one head of state standing up and doing that, we can open up the Rome Statute, which is the statute that sets out the existing crimes against peace, and ecocide can be added as a fifth crime against peace. So I really believe the ball can start rolling this year at the Earth Summit. To do that, however, we'll take the voices of many people, and we're asking everyone to reach out and speak out and really become a voice for the Earth and extend it out through into your network. See this idea and take it to those who are in a position of influence to stand up and speak out about it.
And thank you. That's a really useful message. And I mean, to get one, I mean, there are various names that in my head. But I mean, is there one or is there more? How confident are you? I'm not trying to dissuade people from doing what you're recommending, but
I have no idea. Only know on the day.
It's yeah, it's true. There are all sorts of.
We're getting a lot of interest from all over the world, from countries all over the world. But who's going to speak up on the day? It would be wonderful if it was like a pack of cards and one spoke and many, many others did. Who knows? It's a kind of watch that space and see what happens.
Yes, yeah. Politics is a tricky game, isn't it? There's so many pressures and influences that go on.
Yeah, but we can bring a lot to bear. And this is about the power of the people to speak up and give voice on behalf of the Earth. I think we have a choice here, and really this is about looking into the beautiful new world that we want and leaving the legacy that we want to leave for future generations. And that really means that we change the rules of the game. Because ultimately that's all law is. It's just the rules of the game of life. And at the moment, they're not working. They're not fit for purpose. Right. So it's time to change the rules of the game.
Great. Polly, thank you so much. That's a really inspiring message and something really practical, hopefully, that we can do. Thank you very much.
I encourage everyone to make Earth their business. I think that's what this is about. And do come and join us at eradicatingecocide.com, where you can find out many different ways of helping us spread this word, seed it out, and see what a beautiful new world it will bring into being. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Polly. Really appreciate it. Thank you.